Kina mama 20 wameendelea kuzuiliwa katika hospitali kuu ya Kenyatta baada ya kushindwa kulipa bili zao, baadhi yao wakikaa hadi kwa miezi 6 sasa. Wanawake hao wamekuwa wakilala sakafuni na kufungiwa kwenye chumba kimoja ndani ya hospitali hiyo licha ya kuwa baadhi yao wamefanyiwa upasuaji.
Ili kukuandalia taarifa hii, ilitubidi kutumia mbinu tofauti. Kupenya ndani ya hospitali hii kuu ya Kenyatta, hatungeruhusiwa kuingia hapa na kamera zetu. Na tulipofaulu, hii ndio taswira iliyotukaribisha. Kina mama sakafuni. Baadhi wamekuwa hapa kwa muda wa miezi 2, wengine 3, na hata kuna wale wamekuwa hapa kwa muda wa mwaka mmoja sasa. Kisa na maana, wameshindwa kulipa bili ya hospitali. Kina mama hao wote 20 wanakabiliwa na magonjwa yanayotokana na ujauzito, mzigo uliopelekea baadhi yao kutenganishwa na watoto wao wachanga. Susan Jane Wanjiru alipojifungua hospitalini Pumwani kwa njia ya upasuaji, alianza kukabiliwa na matatizo mwilini.
Nikatengenezwa, halafu nikaletwa kwa hii room, nikaambiwa kadi yangu haiwezi nisaidia kwa saa hii ya mzee. Alafu sasa hiyo bili yao ni kubwa. Tumeremewa.
Bili imefika pesa ngapi?
53. Hapa kulala ni 1200.
Ni mama ambaye hajamuona mtoto wake mchanga tangu azaliwe.
Amka kabisa uone hawa watu.
Nilielekea eneo la Embakasi kumtembelea msamaria mwema aliyesalia na mtoto wa Susan.
Nimekuwa na yeye na mfeed maziwa. Na Mungu ni mwema, amekuwa tu mzuri. Hajakuwa na tatizo. Siwezi enda kazi, siwezi enda mbali. Sasa kama ni duka, nikwenda tu mbio. Lakini mbio hapa, siwezi enda mahali.
Mtoto huyu alizaliwa wiki 3 zilizopita. Ukistaajabu hayo, sakafu hii imekuwa makao ya muda wa miezi 6 kwa juza mwenye umri ya miaka 70. Mamuri ni mkaazi wa eneo la Mathima, kaunti ya Kitui. Mamuri hajatembelewa na yoyote hospitalini humu na amepoteza matumaini ya kurejea nyumbani kwake. Hata hajui bili yake anayodaiwa na hospitali ya Kenyatta ni ngapi. Miongoni mwa kina mama wanaokabiliwa na masaibu hospitalini ni Margaret Taka, ambaye amekuwa hapa kwa muda wa miezi 2 sasa.
Nilikuja hapa, nilikuwa namwagika damu mingi sana. Placenta nilikuwa imebaki ndani ya tumbo. Wenye walinitoa placenta, wakaniwekea maji, wakuja wakanitoa damu, wakasema wanaenda kunitafutia damu yangu. Misho yako hawakuniwekelea damu nyingine. Walinitoa kwa wodi kama niko na 0.5.3 ya damu, wakanisukumanga huko. Halafu ukigonjeka ukienda huko kuomba dawa, wanakuambia dawa si njugu, ambia
Sonya Massey, Sonya Massey, Sonya Massey. Every black content creator need to be on this subject today. People like this boy right here make people like me want eye for an eye. The white content creators need to come out and speak on this situation right here, because this is just beyond nonsense. Like what? She called the police because of the disturbance in her home. You come in, clearly you see this woman ain't a problem, ain't a threat, ain't trying to do. They stoned this woman, man. Then lied. That man didn't even know that his daughter was unalive by the police. Man, listen to me. When we gonna come together? We see what's going on right now in the politics. We see what's going on with the economy. If we don't start seeing the signs that clearly the creator of all mankind is speaking to us. He's speaking to us. We need to start forming small groups of people, city to city, state to state. This is not finna get better. This is about to get worse. Y'all want to talk about Project 2025, Kamala, y'all want to talk about Joe, y'all want to talk about Trump, but we ain't talking about preparing, man. These folks, that boy right there.
Huyu ni waziri anaitwa Soipan Tuya. Huyu mnaona kama ni msichana? Huyu alikuwa girlfriend yangu zamani. Sasa anangangana na mimi.
There is no fucking reason for this. Another Saturday morning full of donuts. Do you see the scale of this? Like, can you tell really? Organizations or people like me would come and get this at night before they throw it away and distribute it to the homeless and food pantries and stuff. And it's every fucking day. They make too many donuts, they don't sell, and then you have hundreds, there's probably 1,000 donuts. There's more than 1,000 in here, I'm sure. Literally the ground up. This isn't just a top layer. It, as far as you can go down, there's boxes of donuts. Makes me sick. No reason at all. But it's gonna happen again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next. I hope you have a good weekend. Do something kind.
I have a question for a lot of you black girls. Do you actually like brown men? Do you like Asian men? Because I've never ever seen a black girl with an Asian guy. I've only seen them with light skins, black guys, white guys, but never a brown boy, never a brown guy. You get me? Like, what's going on? Like, it can't just be me. I've never ever seen a black girl with a brown guy. Literally, I've not seen a Nigerian with a Pakistani. I've not seen a Ghanaian with a Bengali. Do you get it? I've never seen that mix. I've always seen black girls, white men, black girls, black guys, black girls, light skin. You get me? I've only seen that, but I've never really seen the Asian and the... You get me? That's what I'm not... But I know there are a lot of black guys that actually go for brown women, but I've not seen black girls go for Asian men. It's sad. It's sad. But it's a question. It's a question. So the question is mainly, is there actually any black girls that really go for Asian men? Because I've just not seen it. And just someone answer.
I just watched a woman get executed in her home by a fascist police state. And guess what? This time wasn't in Gaza. It was in Illinois. Sonia Massey called the police to help her because she was worried about an intruder. She was worried and she called the police to get help with a possible threat to her life, and they ended her life. They asked her to take water she was boiling off of the stove. She goes over and picks it up, and they start freaking out. She jokes to them, "Oh, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." They ask her, "What the fuck did you say?" And she says it again to clarify, and then they shoot her in the face. Watch the video. Watch the video, because if you read the transcripts and you see, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus," while she's holding the pot of water, that might actually sound like a threat. Like, you could see how someone might think of it as a threat. Watch the fucking video. Watch the fucking video, because it is the most joking, light-hearted thing. I cannot believe it. She follows their commands, makes one joke, is told, "I'm going to shoot you in the fucking face," and then within a minute, she is shot in the fucking face. The police officer that shot her has worked at six different police stations. Do you want to take some fucking guesses as to why he's had to move around so much? This happened because we left this system in place in 2020. This happened because we left the streets. All the fucking white liberals who said, "You know what? I'm getting a little uncomfortable now, and I want to go back to my lives." This is the result of that. A woman gets executed in her own home in our backyard because we decided that her death was a worthy price to pay for our fucking convenience. This fucking deserves an uprising on the level of 2020 and beyond. And this time, stay in the fucking streets. Especially if you fucking look like this, and the odds that the police are gonna come into your home and shoot you in the face are so much less. Because if you are sitting there feeling like this is so inconvenient because you have nothing to lose, you need to be out there, you need to be speaking up fucking so much. We don't need your fucking analysis. Notice, I'm not sitting here going like, "Oh, well, here's all of the history of race, etc., etc." That doesn't need to come from me. I can look at a fucking atrocity and say, "That's fucked. We should do something about it," and show up with energy. That's all we need to be doing, is showing up and making sure that this violent police state comes to a fucking end. Get educated, do your research, make sure someone else doesn't have to do that for you, especially a person of color, but also understand we're not asking you to be fucking Martin Luther King and be giving speeches all the time. You should be in the fucking crowd showing the fuck up. And this time, don't fucking leave.
If a woman is single for a long time, like 2 years, 3 years or more, it ain't because something's wrong with her, most likely. More than likely it's because she's intelligent. And that's not to say women who are in relationships or marriages or that get in these relationships quickly are just dumb. What I'm saying is intelligent women, they have the smallest dating pool because they have the least amount of tolerance for BS. Like an intelligent woman cannot stomach a man who can't teach her anything. And because she's intelligent, there are very few men who can. An intelligent woman can't tolerate a man that can't mentally stimulate her or that she has to explain every little thing to. An intelligent woman, she's the most likely to be insulted by a man who thinks that he can play in her face like she's dumb. So they ain't gonna last. And then add to the fact that, yes, she's intelligent, so therefore she gathers information and she acts on it more effectively than most, which means she's not gonna continue repeating the same bad relationship over and over again with a different man for years on end. She'd just rather be single. And then intelligent women perform better in the job market and have more successful businesses, so they're the least likely to depend on the man to be their meal ticket. But what I really love about these women is that they're also not easily rattled by that whole, oh, you gonna die alone. You gonna be single until you die, because they're smart enough to understand it's better to be happy until you die alone than to live miserably every single day feeling like you're dying inside.
Why are we hating black people? And no, it's not racism, it's lack of knowledge. That's what is. We, as human beings, all started with black. And that's mainly in Africa. The white supremacy cover it all up with their own lies. By removing and destroying monuments in Egypt, that is to look black, and started separating Egypt from Africa as if it's a different places. Now, they start to paint on movies that Egyptians are white, even making Jesus white. Well, in fact, he's black. Egyptians are mainly Africans. You see that clothes they are wearing? Those are for Africans. Then there's these lies about aliens and shit, that aliens are the ones who build the pyramid. Okay, then if that's what you believe, as you like. They found evidence in Egypt upon digging to find the oldest Bible, the oldest Quran, the Papyrus Ani, or the Book of Dead. All the characters are written on this 20,000 years old script and 52 feet long. That's approximately 16 meters deep, are all African. It all started in Africa, and all the people are black. And white supremacy knows all about it, on how advanced the culture of African is. And that's the main reason why they targeted Africa, even for slavery in the first place, just to implement the white supremacy. That's why white people get justice quick, while black named as criminals and gang-related. Have you noticed it or no? These we see right now on televisions are all white supremacy agenda. Africa has everything you can think of, rich of minerals, resources. When I say everything, they have it all. They just get attacked by the wrong people. I mean, who hates black anyway? Only racist and jealous people hate black because they are just born with talents, sports, singing, you name it. And the best of friends that you can really trust.
Your enemies are confused and furious as to why their black magic no longer works on you. Why is it that they hire practitioners and their black magic doesn't work on you? Well, it has to do with the fact that you are shining your light now, unapologetically. You will no longer dim your light like you did in the past, and you don't care who that pisses off. If someone doesn't like you for who you are, you cut them off immediately. You don't care about having a bunch of friends, especially people that don't like you. So they're confused because in the past, their black magic worked on you because you were dimming your light. You weren't being fully authentic like you are now. And they loved watching you struggle because their black magic caused a lot of that. They did spells on your finances. They love to see you hurt and upset and miserable because they're miserable. And if they saw you more miserable than them, it made them feel better about themselves. You know, that's the type of people you were dealing with. But now, Now that you're being authentically you, because you have this little promise to yourself that you'll always keep it real. You'll keep it real with others, and you'll keep it real with yourself. And if someone is not behaving right, you're going to step in and call them out on their bullshit. And you're not scared to do that anymore. And this type of, holding people accountable, it definitely causes people to not want to be around you, but oh well. You want to filter out the bullshit people. You want to filter out these people that haven't worked on themselves. You want to filter out these copycats. Whenever you go to any town or city, in any state, any country, you'll typically see one personality floating around that city. You have thousands and millions of people. Everyone looks a little different. They have different names, but they speak the same way. They use the same phrases. They use the same tonality. They use the same slang. No one is original. And you're not like that. You're not trying to be a copycat. And this pisses off a lot of people because how dare you? How dare you not try to fit in? But the real thing is you have true liberation and freedom and they don't. And that's really what they're pissed off about. Because they have to put up an act. They have to put up a facade. They have to keep up with the changes in the community as far as the lingo and tonality and expressions and all of that. You don't have to do that. You just continue on with your life, and whatever comes out of your mouth, it comes out. And however you move your arms and hands is however you're going to move them. And because of this, God is rewarding you. You've stepped into your abundance. I know you felt it. I know you've seen the changes. You will no longer worry about where your next dollar is coming from. You're no longer going to worry about how you're going to pay your bills. You're no longer going to worry about your transportation. Nothing. This is the season where you reap your rewards. Everything that you went through in the past was training, and it was a bunch of lessons you had to learn in order to carry yourself into this new season. No longer will you be in poverty. No longer will you ask anyone for help. You're going to be self-reliant, and there's nothing anyone can do to stop you. This blessing was written for you by the Most High God, and no one can strip it away from you. And your enemies, they know that now because they got readings done on you. They knew your destiny, and they try to stop you from getting your destiny, but they couldn't stop you because your faith was unshakable. And you're never going to turn your back on the Most High God because you have the proof now. Not only do you have proof that God exists, but you yourself are the proof that God exists. Anyways, guys, until next time, take care and I'll see you later.
Wewe, unamesa nini? Unamesa nini? Niko nakuuliza unamesa nini? Sinabidi twende tulale. Unaweka nini nyuma hiyo? Nini yenye unaweka nyuma ya mgongo hiyo? Hisi ni pitu hii. Allah. Oh! Wakati mimi mwenyewe nakula njuku, nakula kumukombero, nakula ukali, na pepeta shamba mzuri, kumbe unajua kitu unanifanyia. Wewe si tukiletana kwa hii nyumba ulisema uko ready hata kupata mimba yangu. Sasa ndio huyo unamesa pitu ni kama unamesa pana tu. Kazi yako tu ni kumesa pitu tu. Unaona mimi sasa nichokenge tu wakati unasema tutapata mtoto, kumbe unajua kitu yenye unafanya. Mimi mwenyewe ndio huyo najituma, napika chimu usiku silali ili nikupepete uridhike. Mwanamke mkani huyu. Heri hata ningeoa msichana mwenye ameonja hivi vitu, msichana mwenye hata ako na mtoto, kuliko kuoa kasichana kenye atikataki kapate mimba. We mesa pitu sikutaza mtoto mwenye ana akili, mtoto mwenye hata labda hana kichwa, ndio utajua uchungu. Utajua uchungu, I'm telling you. You will see. And you will regret. We kata hapo, hata sasa hii sitaki. Sichoki kwa mtu mwenye ninajua sipati faida. Kachinga. Hata ufanye uende kwenyu. Toka hapa.
Guys, you need to start listening to your parents. When your parents are telling you to stay away from certain individuals, or maybe it's that one bad friend that keeps getting you into trouble, or when your parents are telling you to fix your attitude and behavior, they're not saying it because they want to be mean or stop you from having fun with your friends. They're saying it because they're watching out for you. Your parents are the only people in this world that will always have your best interest at heart. Remember that, guys. Start listening to your parents. Take their advice on board. A lot of you don't even know how much wisdom your parents have because you haven't spent that time one-on-one talking to them. A lot of you will be surprised how much your parents can help you. You know, they've been through life. They've been through things. You know, their perspective can be very valuable, guys.
Pigs are animals that eat their own feces. That's another word for doo-doo. Why would you eat an animal that eats its own feces, eating some doo-doo? Why would you eat that? A pig is 99.9% poison. The pig is so poisonous that you can't poison it with another poison. You understand? The purpose of the pig is to clean the earth of filth. It is a scavenger. Scavengers eat things that are dead. When something is dead and it dies of itself, then when it dies and rigor mortis sets in, then the poison of death is in the thing that is dead. But see, the enemy is smart enough to hide from you the lifestyle of the pig so that when he puts it on the commercial as the other white meat, you will accept it. We like to eat the intestines. You call them chitlins. The chitlins holds the bowel movement or the doo-doo of a pig. For 20 to 27 years, now I grew up in the South, so I know how they clean chitlins. They get one end and they hold it with their hand. They put water on the other end and then they hold it with this hand. They shake it up and down and then they let it go and all the doo-doo falls out. Then that which just had doo-doo in it, they take it in the house and put it in a pot and cook it. Then you give it to your children and they put hot sauce on it and do what? Eat it for Thanksgiving.
The truth is hidden in a plain sight. We are one with the nature. If you want to know more about the herbs from our Creator's garden, this ebook will unveil that for you. Let thy food be thy medicine.
This is why your parents hate your friends. I know for a fact a lot of your lot's parents are warning you about your friends. Because you're young and naive and you don't have as much wisdom as your parents, you might be thinking, what are my parents on about? How do they know my friends? But believe me, your parents do know right from wrong. They know when someone's bad for you. They can see a bad person before you do. Believe me, a lot of your lot's friends are taking you down the wrong road. They're making you smoke, drink, go to parties and clubs. Places that are no good for you. Places that can really get you hurt as well. Maybe your friends are getting you in situations that you're not supposed to be in. And this is why your parents warn you of these people.
You have to understand, you should listen to your parents more than you listen to your friends, because your friends don't really care about you. You understand? They're going to have their own family. They're going to have their own kids one day. They're going to throw you out the window. Your parents are the ones who love you. So would you rather listen to somebody who loves you, they have your best interests at heart, or somebody who, realistically, they're going to put themselves over you? You need to listen to the person who loves you, because they're going to give you the best advice for you.
C'est le message pour éveiller la conscience.
Send the message to raise awareness. Some rulers always try to put their people to sleep and continue to loot their people for the benefit of the West. It has to stop. Who better than you to send this message to the different peoples? Africa must wake up. Young people must wake up and no longer allow the same policy to continue. It is not possible. Africa is still a virgin. Everything has to be done in Africa. Look at how our cities are. I am moved and very happy to see you here at Burkina Faso since the events of the SNC. It is more than a pleasure that you have chosen to come here to Burkina Faso. You have surely been told that this is an unfriendly country. You have been told that it is death here. It is war. There is only negative. We have painted Burkina in black. Here only blood flows, weapons. This is what is said elsewhere. Thank God you have come. You have been able to be at the bottom of the lake, to live with our culture. what binds us Africans.
communier avec beaucoup d'autres nationalités qui sont venues.
You have been able to communicate with many other nationalities who have come to celebrate with us. All went very well. You are in Ouagadougou. I hope that you are very well received, very well housed, and that you manage to communicate with your brothers here. This is an important message that I am sending to everyone. And now you will be the ambassadors of this message when you return home.
Le Burkina est bien fréquentable.
Burkina is very popular.
Ce qu'ils veulent faire croire,
We live in Burkina Faso. What they want to make believe, that is not
qu'ils
Burkina.
dessinent pour amener les gens à fuir.
It is what they draw to lead people to flee Burkina. And it is all Africa that they paint like that.
Pour eux, l'Afrique c'est la misère.
For them, Africa is misery.
Famine.
Africa is war. Africa is famine. Africa is war. Who is responsible for this war? We need to unite, but they have always been there to divide us, to be able to reign better.
L'esclavage, nos ancêtres l'ont vécu.
Slavery, our ancestors lived it. To this day, we are fed up with it.
Mais ça continue.
But it continues.
Nos grands-pères étaient déportés.
Our grandfathers were deported, tortured,
Encore quand ils avaient leur guerre,
and even when they had their wars, we were there to support them.
ils nous ont payés en monnaie de singe.
They paid us in money. Others were killed when they tried to claim it.
Plusieurs d'entre eux sont morts dans leur village avec les séquelles.
Several of them died in their villages with the consequences of the war. We have never recognized the work of Africans.
Notre mission, c'est d'abord
Our mission is to awaken Africa.
et qui mieux que vous de la diaspora.
And who better than you from the diaspora to make people understand what Africa
Quand
is?
je vous vois unis dans cette association,
When I see you united in this association, I feel even more proud,
parce que c'est tout ce que nous demandons.
because that is all we ask for. Today our fight is to be able to unite. Because united we are strong. Divided we are weak. They have always worked to divide us.
Je vous exhorte à passer le message pour que l'Afrique
I urge you to pass on the message so that Africa can
la
unite.
chance ou la malchance de vivre la
We
guerre.
have the chance, or the bad chance, to live the war for a few years.
Et à un moment donné, il fallait dire
And at some point we had to say, that's enough. We are fed up with it. We have taken our responsibilities. And we realize today, more than ever, that we have a reason to take our responsibilities.
parce que ces armées étaient installées ici.
Because these armies were settled here, they have never been able, at any time, to watch our territory, to see the terrorists who came to kill us and leave, with all the means they had.
Et lorsque nous nous avons demandé de partir,
And when we asked them to leave, today we have been able to acquire a good number of means that allow us to wage our war and to remove the threat, and to invade, I would
nous avons
say.
pu équiper nos forces et reconstituer nos armées. Ça ne
We have
fait
been
pas
able to equip our forces and reestablish our armies. They don't like it. Of course, they will create other ways. But we are here, and we will hold on thanks to you, who are here to support
parce
us.
que l'Africain, c'est la résilience.
We will always stand up because Africans are resilient. We have suffered enough. The first thing you could do for Africa is to send a positive message.
Assez de pillage, assez de mort.
Enough looting, enough death. It is time that we unite and work. We only ask to live with dignity, to live free.
Passez le message pour éveiller les consciences.
Send the message to raise awareness. Some rulers always try to put their people to sleep and continue to loot their people for the benefit of the West.
Que ça cesse.
It has to stop. Who better than you to send this message to the different peoples? Africa must wake up. Young people must wake up and no longer allow the same policy to continue. It is not possible.
L'Afrique est encore vierge.
Africa is still a virgin. Everything has to be done in Africa. Look at how our cities are.
Nous pouvons aussi développer.
We can also develop our health and education systems. We can develop everything. In this rich diaspora, we have all the specialties.
Aujourd'hui au Burkina, nous sommes en train de
Today in Burkina Faso, we are thinking about setting up a polytechnic university just to train scientific engineers.
et je pense que vous serez les
I think you will be welcome to learn from your young brothers.
Parce que tant que nous ne formerons pas la jeunesse à ce que nous puissions nous-mêmes produire et
Because as long as we do not train the youth to what we can produce and transform here, we will always remain slaves. Sovereignty is a whole. We are fighting for food self-sufficiency. Those who can invest in the agri-food industry to transform our products here, you are welcome. We produce everything here. Everything grows on our soil. We have experimented with everything for a year or so. Everything grows in Burkina Faso. Those who want to invest in agriculture are welcome. Those who want to invest in transformation are welcome. We want to transform education, because the training we are currently experiencing is from the school. They have channeled us so that intellectuals, for the most part, cannot think outside the box they have drawn. Thank God their consciousness is awakening. We need more. We need to change the education system. You are welcome. There are many other paths. They were plundering our wealth. Today we are regaining control. We will never let our wealth be plundered because we want to live. We want to see our children being cared for, educated, growing up in peace, and living in a healthy environment. We are open, and you are welcome in Africa to develop your continent, to unite your continent and pass on the message of unity. This is very important. Continue to pass on the message so that young people wake up and don't let our leaders make slaves for others. This must not be allowed. There are some countries today where we want to pass on messages. But I think your voices carry even more, because you are ambassadors wherever you are, in America, in Europe, in the Caribbean. You are ambassadors. When you speak, it can awaken. I urge you to speak. This is the mission I entrust to you to awaken the continent. Have a good stay.
Being here in the country of the upright man is a dream come true. To President Traoré,
to President Traoré, this is the land of Thomas Sankara, and we see in you the reincarnation of Captain Thomas Sankara. And we are convinced that you are here to complete the work that they have already started. The work that they started in the 1960s, when they formed the African Union to give a voice to Africa and to unite Africa. Excellency, Mr. President, we think that what is happening today in the Sahel, in Mali, in Niger, and in Burkina Faso is not a coup d'etat, but a revolution. A revolution to unite Africa, and Africa must unite. And we are convinced that this revolution will go beyond the borders of the Sahel. Mr. President, you have shown us that it is possible to chase the pursuit to save the land of our ancestors and our children. We are here today, Mr. President, for 3 missions. The first mission that brings us here today is that, Mr. President, I bring you with me a delegation of the descendants of the diaspora. Among them, there are the descendants of Africans who were abducted during slavery for nearly 400 years. Among them, there are also Africans who live abroad, in the United States, in Australia, in Europe, in the Caribbean, in Latin America, and in many other African countries. Among those of the diaspora, there are some here this morning who are here for the first time to chase the African soil. They bring with them the spirit of their ancestors, who were abducted in Africa for nearly 400 years. They bring their spirit so that they can finally rest in peace in the land of Burkina Faso of Thomas Sankara. The second reason why we are here, Mr. President, is to bring you our support and to say that we are with you. You are all that we have hoped and wanted from a president. Mr. President, when we were about to come here, we were told that we should not come to Burkina Faso, that there is a red line, that Burkina Faso is at war, that it is not stable, that it is not secure. But I assure you, Mr. President, the more they told us that Burkina Faso is not stable and that it is dangerous, the more we ran to Burkina Faso. and we are proud to be here today to see the work that has already been done. You are the Burkina Faso population, so it is normal, and it is our responsibility to be here this morning to tell you, Mr. President, that we are here, we support you, we are with you, and we are capable, and we are competent, and we want to help.
Et la troisième mission pour laquelle nous sommes là aujourd'hui, Monsieur le Président, c'est justement pour demander comment est-ce qu'on peut apporter notre...
And the third reason why we are here today, Mr. President, is to ask you how we can bring our support to your leadership and to this transition. Among us, there are experts like engineers, architects, doctors, businessmen, and many others. And all we want, Mr. President, is to bring our capacities and our expertise to help build Burkina Faso, our Burkina Faso, and to help build the united Africa that we dream of. Thank you.
Excuse me, man. Can I ask what you do for a living?
Yeah, I'm a chef, Chef, and I'm a cleaning supervisor here as well.
Oh, nice. You do chef and cleaning supervisor?
Cleaning supervisor in the evening time,
Nice.
yeah.
How long have you been doing that?
I've been doing this one more than 15 years.
15 years?
Yes.
What's the best thing about this job that you've been doing it for 15 years?
Yeah, because, until I can say I'm getting my living from it.
Yeah.
Once, secondly as well, the views, and we are trying to make the place clean for people.
Do you mind sharing roughly how much you make between being a chef and a cleaner?
Yeah, to be honest, roughly I can make like 3,500 a month.
3,500 a month. And do you
Yeah.
think you're paid fairly for the work that you do?
Yeah, I'm happy. They are paying me fairly. If I was not happy, I wouldn't be here.
I love that. I love that, man. Feeling compensated is very important for the work that you do.
Yeah.
Final question from me. What bit of advice would you give for anyone who wants to get into your line of work?
No, to carry on doing it, they can go, because all of them is a good job. Being chef is a good job. Being a cleaner as well now is a good job, because you are not breaking any law.
Yeah.
You are making the place clean for people, and then try to make the environment as well now safe for everyone.
Yeah. Awesome.
It's not saying like they're gonna bring you down or have shame by doing this one. No.
Yeah, I love that. I love that, man. Well, lovely to meet you. What's your name?
Thank you. Lovely to meet you. My name is Emmanuel Sanduno.
Emmanuel, lovely to meet you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
If you have ever wondered why Africans have all these resources but cannot develop the country, why Africans are so poor, why African people are... If you've ever had one of those thoughts about why Africa, I need you to watch this video.
The kind of mineral resources we have in our country is enough to take care of everybody in that country. We should not have a single poor person in Sierra Leone. But unfortunately, we are not given the free will to make decisions on our own mineral resources. There's always Big Brother who decides. And when you fight and say, no, we are not going to do this, they use the system to stop you. It's either they set you up with the opposition and they'll be supporting the opposition against you from the back, or they cause unnecessary chaos in your country so that you are not able to even govern your own people. They will do things to make you not to be functionable. And of course, any country that don't have peace cannot develop. You have to have peace before you talk about development. I'll give you a simple example about Sierra Leone. Every mining company that is in Sierra Leone today is owned by a foreigner. Every mining company. If it's not the Chinese, it's the American, it's the British. Our electricity, Bubuda, is run by the British, and we still don't have light. We're looking for light, electricity. If you don't have electricity, how can you talk about education? How can you talk about health facility? How can you talk about improving the infrastructure of your country? We don't have electricity. Now, do we actually even have proper water, pipe-borne water, so that our kids will not be sick? We don't have those facilities. Why? With all the minerals we have, there is a cap you put. Before my husband became the president of Sierra Leone was benefiting, they said, what's the word? 0.000.1%. What is that? Basically, a company can take as much as $100 million out of the country in terms of minerals, and then they can just give the country $10,000. Now, what will $10,000 do for our health system? What is $10,000 do for our educational system? And these are the things I believe that are stopping Africa from progressing. We don't have a say. The sense about us celebrating independence, I don't know why we celebrate independence, because we are not free. That is my own take. I'm not speaking also on behalf of the government of Sierra Leone, nor am I speaking on behalf of His Excellency the President. I am speaking as Fatima, as a citizen of a country who believes that things need to change.
Y'all heard that? Did you hear that? So, now you start to get a general idea. When they give an African country its independence, when an African country gets its independence, they don't get their independence. They get their independence on the grounds that we will let you rule, on the grounds that we run this, we control this, we have exclusive rights to this, we will buy this, we will buy this, and they get their independence, right? Or so-called independence. And you heard what she said. They take $100 million worth of raw minerals from Sierra Leone, and they give them $10,000 for it. $100 million worth of minerals, and they pay them $10,000 for it. And here's the funny thing you don't know. When they report global GDP, when the Europeans report GDP of a nation, they're not reporting the $100 million that they took out. They're reporting that amount of raw material. They're reporting the $10,000 that they gave. So they're going to claim that even though they took $100 million worth, they'll report that they took $10,000 worth. So imagine a country like Sierra Leone. Now you understand whatever their GDP is, multiply it by probably 10 or 100. Sierra Leone has enough money to ensure that no Sierra Leonean ever goes broke for their life. Libya, you saw what was going on in Libya. Libyans were the richest, wealthiest Africans. The average Libyan back then, you got married, your husband got $10,000 from the government, your wife got $10,000 from the government, and you both got land and a house from the government so that you could start to build a family. The West didn't like that. They destroyed it. Because Gaddafi was trying to do the exact same thing to every other African country. And the reality is, if every African country starts to do that, white people, every day on the news, it will be, deport these Europeans. They're coming here. We don't want them. They stink. Their country is poor. That's the reality. That's the reason why there is not a weapons manufacturer in Africa, because Africans cannot have the weapons to fight back, to take control of their country. So that's what that's what the Sahel Alliance is slowly trying to do, is put us in a position that right now with the Sahel Alliance, these countries, Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, Guinea, they all have enough wealth that no citizen would ever be broke. When I say broke, the average poorest citizen from that country who relies 100% on government assistance will be able to vacation 3-4 times a year to Europe, and when he goes to Europe, he or she will have more money than a middle class European. That's how much wealth they have. What the Sahel Alliance is trying to do is ensure that anybody who comes in to try and start some shit or start a war, you're going to face not just that one country. You're going to face multiple African countries fighting for their rights and their resources. So all of you who have been wondering why Africans are poor, why Africans are not developed, why Africans this, now you have your answer. No company in Nigeria is the 4th largest oil producing country in the world. No Nigerian company controls Nigerian crude oil. Nigeria does not control its crude oil. There's a facade. Yes, we have smaller companies that make change. No Nigerian company does that. Dangote refinery is about to be the first one, and even that, honestly, I'm not. Yes, okay, good. A black man will finally control Nigeria's production. Our oil will finally control it, but will he put the money back in the country? Fuck no. It's just going to create a new billionaire class in Nigeria, but at least we're the ones creating it. We're the ones benefiting.
The latest, our youngest president, the Messiah, the savior of Africa, the most loud, the all in all, Captain Ibrahim Traore. Sometimes when I call him the savior, a lot of people say, no, he's not. My dear brothers and sisters, he is the savior, the Jesus of our time. The Jesus Christ came and saved the Israelites. He didn't save me. So this one is saving me. Ibrahim Traore has opened doors. He has lifted a ban on visa for all black Americans who were taken out of the African continent over 400 years ago, and they are living in America and all the other parts of the world, developing, using their brains, their money, their everything to help develop those countries to come back home. That the door is open. They don't need any visa to visit Burkina Faso. Whatsoever way that you think you can help all the other Africans, come. Burkina Faso is opening the doors to you. You are not a foreigner. You are a black man. Situation took you there. And today, you are welcomed home. Whatsoever knowledge you have that it can help the people, your black race, your brothers back home in Africa, Burkina Faso is calling you to come. Come and use your knowledge to help the people. Even if you can't come, there is an organization that he's partnering with. Do your donation through that, and it will go a long way to help the African. That the people you see, the street, the beautiful things, the companies, the whatever, that's you are building, helping them to build, can equally be done in Africa here. That you are not strangers. You are welcomed. That there are a lot of sectors you can invest in. They have agriculture, mining, you know. We have a lot of abundance of natural resources in Burkina Faso and in Africa. So any other sector you want to invest in, you are welcome. It doesn't matter the kind of knowledge you have and the kind of sector you are in. The door is open to everyone. All that we need is you to come and help. The little way that you can. You are going to be living free. Africa is not the way that the Westerners have projected the African continent. No, it's a very beautiful place. We are very lovely. No, we are not like the Westerners. They tell you the bad areas, as if those areas are not found in the Western areas. We have beautiful places, very beautiful culture. We are your brothers. Regardless of what happened and you were detached from us, we are still one, from one ancestor. So, this is the time for you to come home. Now that the doors are open for you to come, you don't need visa. Please, our brothers in the diaspora, come home. We are waiting for you to come back, and together we'll make Africa proud. So that's the latest around the world, in Africa, West Africa, and in Burkina Faso.